But today, I want to talk to you guys about your number one player on your team. So let me set this up for you real quick. Okay. So we talked about the overview. The overview told you why you need to have the business. And then Ken told you how we're going to run the business, right? So now that you're in the business, I want to show you how to stay in the business and keep your team uh, actively involved in the business. So I'm going to start off by asking you this question. Who is your star player on your team? Okay, this is very important. I want you to think about if you had a Michael Jordan on your team, or a Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, on your team, or a LeBron James on your team. All right. What if you had a star player? Would you put them in the game? Would you put them in the game? So here's what I want to talk to you about. Your most valuable player. Okay. So once you join MWR Financial, you're on a winning team. You can't lose, guys. You cannot lose. So your most valuable player has to be in the game. Now, here's what I found out. A lot of people have this player, but they don't even bring him to the arena. They keep this player at home. They're not even in the arena. And then some people have the valuable player, but they got him sitting on the bench. He's not even in the game. Okay. So if you got a teammate that you always want to put the ball in his hands to take the winning shot so you can win the game, he has to be on the court. So let me introduce to some and present to others your most valuable player in this business is TaxBot. Okay. Now we heard Larry Stewart talk about TaxBot, and Ken just said TaxBot saved him a ton of money. This is your most valuable player. See, TaxBot turn your business expenses into tax deduction. So if you know anything about tax deduction,
Every one of them in the
Man,
country. That's this. They're calling.
okay. All right, I think I got it. All right. So if you know anything about tax deductions lower your taxable income. So you came into this business to make money. Now we always talk about cash flow expansion. Okay, now that's really big. You have to talk about cash flow expansion more than you need to talk about income. Okay, and Larry told us that cash flow is measured in time. So it's your money staying with you a lot longer. See, when I started this business, took off.
They bought it from somebody before. Gee.
Okay, sorry about that. All right, so when we talk about cash flow, we talked about you keeping your money a lot longer, okay? So when I first started this business, you know, I took off running, man. I wanted to tell everybody my testimony, how I got laid off and how I made all this money. I'm a winner personality type of person, so I attracted a lot of people to the money. But what I found out, when a lot of people couldn't duplicate that success, they would leave. So now we got to tell our new recruits, the people that's coming into the business, how they can win no matter what. And your number one player, your MVP, TaxBot, is going to put you in that position. So here's what I want to say to you. Would you rather receive a $12,000 pay raise every year or save $10,000 in taxes? Now, I ask this question a lot, especially the prospects. Okay, would you rather receive $12,000 pay raise every single year or $10,000 savings? Now, most people would take the $12,000 pay raise, but those that are in NWR Financial understand that the $10,000 in savings is a better option. Because if you take the $12,000 pay raise and not the federal, state, Social Security, and FICA taps into that $12,000, you're basically knocking that down to about $8,000. So you're losing $10,000. So that's a lot of money. So we want to show you how to save money and keep more of your money. Here's another question I want to ask you. What if you had a 45% cash back card? Okay, so everywhere you go, you get 20 to 45% cash money back into your pocket. Would you use it? Absolutely. Well, here's the good news, guys. You have that card. It's your business card. Now, you don't have to go out and get a business account, okay? I'm just saying designate an account that you only use for your business. So when you go out and purchase things for your business, it's on that card, okay? So your business card will allow you to get 20 to 45% of your money back into your pocket. Now, here's some of the cashback details, okay? We're talking about meals, vehicle uses, home office expenses. You can deduct up to equivalent to your kids' college or wedding, medical expenses, travel, and much, much more, okay? See, when you become a home-based business owner, you got over 470 different tax deductions you can take. And they show you how to take these deductions legally, ethically, and morally. See, a lot of people was up in the uproar about Mr. Trump only paying $750 in taxes. You know, he was using tax avoidance. Well, tax avoidance is legal, and we all should be trying to avoid our taxes. Now, we're not talking about evading taxes because that's illegal. Okay, there's a difference. One is Wesley Snipes, the other one is Donald Trump. Okay, what you need to know is that the tax laws, there's two types of tax laws. We got tax laws for the business owners and tax laws for the W-2. I call it the haves and the have-nots. Now, when I say the haves and the have-nots, most people think I'm talking about the rich and the poor. But what I'm talking about is those that have a Schedule C form and those that do not have a Schedule C form when they file their taxes. So if you file your taxes and you have a Schedule C form, you're winning, guys. As you see, you can claim your profit and your loss, okay? So you can use the same tax avoidance that Mr. Trump using for him running his business as you using to run your own small home-based business, okay? So the tax laws favors the business owner. So I don't care who's gonna come into the White House, the tax laws is always gonna favor the business owner. So why not have one? So here's a question for you. What's the difference in the tax benefit for a brick and mortar versus a home-based business? Absolutely nothing. You get the same tax write-off as somebody that has a brick and mortar business. Now, it's funny to me because a lot of time people don't recognize the home-based business as a real legitimate business. They'd rather go out and get a brick and mortar business. Well, I'm here to tell you, I have a little small complex down here in Hinesville called the Ivory Complex, and I have a room that I rent out to other businesses. I have a tattoo shop, hair salon, a cleaning service, and those guys are paying $1,200 to $1,300 a month just for space, 4 walls, a roof, and a ceiling. Now, they still have to pay for their own utilities. They still have to pay for their own inventory for whatever they're servicing. They still have to pay for their employees. And last but not least, they still have to make enough money to run that business and their household at the same time. So why not have a home-based business? You have everything that you need in your home. Okay, so now let's talk about who we're prospecting. Who is our potential prospects? Okay, is it your warm market, like Ken said? Is it your family and your friends? Is it your coworker? Is it your neighbor? Is it the people that you worship with? Is your high school friends? Who are your potential prospects? Well, it should be everybody. Everybody should be your prospect because everybody needs what we have. Everybody needs to reduce their taxes. Everybody should want a decent credit score. Everybody should want to get out of debt, and everybody should be able to retire someday. And the only way that you can do that is through investments and leave a legacy behind for your children and your children's children. Okay. So now, if everybody is your potential prospects, I want you to think about this. Then almost every meal you could take can be deductible. So I used to eat out every day for lunch when I was working, you know, take a coworker out and we'll have lunch. Everybody should be a potential prospect. So every meal that you have outside of your home should be a deductible meal. Okay. The government is allowing you to deduct 50% of your meals. Now that's a lot of money. Okay. All you got to do is simply input the data into the system and just answer a few questions. They made it real simple. Take a picture of the receipt. Okay. People take time to take pictures of food and post it on Facebook. We're asking you to take a picture of the receipt and upload it into TaxBot. So they want to know what you're doing, why you're doing it, how much is the meal, where, when, and who. Okay. Now, it's funny because I kind of do spot checks on my team every now and then. And I ask them, hey, are you tracking your deductions? And people say, well, you know, I'm keeping the receipts. But what happens to those receipts? They fade, right? They fade or you'll lose them. Okay, that's why they put it on that invisible paper. If you think you're going to hold these receipts for 14 months and think your accountant or whoever your tax preparer is going to be able to read it, think again. Okay, so instead of taking pictures of the food, take pictures of the receipts and upload it, and it's stored into the cloud. See, that's what your most valuable player do for you. Okay, some people say, well, you know, I just hold it on my card. I just get my bank statement. Well, think again. Your bank statement doesn't have all the information that you need to be audit proof. But here's what TaxBot will do for you. If you upload your bank card or your business card that we was talking about, and you tag it to your email, TaxBot will go in and see that purchase on your bank statement and match it with the e-receipt and upload it for you. Now, all you gotta do is authorize it, whether it's personal or business. Okay? Are you taking advantage of your mileage? See, these are things that are making money for you without recruiting anybody. So once somebody gets into the business, they should never quit because you're making money. You're making money, you're increasing your cash flow. And if you're not taking advantage of the mileage, here's something I want you to think about. For every 2 miles that you drive, I want you to think about throwing $1.15 out the window. That's a lot of money. Just every 2 miles, throw $1 and some change out the window, and just do that until you can't stand no more. Most of you probably won't even go 5 miles. Okay. Now, here's what you do for a prospect. The next time you ride in a car and you want to prospect somebody, just look in that ashtray and get some change out of there. Everybody got a couple of change in the ashtray or a little cubby hole. Just take about 30 cents and just chunk it out the window and see the reaction of the driver. Then he'll probably pull over like, man, are you crazy? You just gonna take my money and throw it out the window? And you say, well, you're doing it every day. Because that's exactly what you're doing by not having a home-based business. You're just throwing money out the way. Now, I just took 30 cents and threw it out the window, and you in a big uproar. But in reality, you're losing $1.15 for every 2 miles you drive and not have a business. All right. So when it comes to car deductions, you know, the government allows you to take 2 types of deductions. You can either do the standard mileage rate or you can do the actual percentage. Okay. So if you take the standard mileage rate, you got to find out what's the purpose of the miles and what's the rate, because there's difference. So if it's business mile for this year is 57.5 cents a mile. But did you know if your mileage is for medical, you going to appointments with the doctor or a clinic, is 17 cents a mile. All right. Charity, 14 cents a mile. All right. These are deductions that you might not even thought about taking. How many of you are coaching your kids youth level sports? I did it for all my grandchildren. Okay. How many of you are deducting miles for going for your checkup? See, in the military, you know, I'm retired and I have to go to Charleston, South Carolina, or either Dublin, Georgia, to the nearest VA hospital. Well, the VA will pay you for travel on the spot. Yeah, after the appointment, we go to the cashier cage and get a check. All right. But at the same time, I can still get business miles out of that because everybody is your prospect. All right. So just think about it. So here's how this thing works, guys. Let's say you did 10,000 miles, okay, a year at 57.5 cents a mile. That's 0.575. That's a $5,750 deduction. Okay. Now remember, deductions reduces your taxable income. So already you reduced it by $5,000. Now you can also take a percentage of your business use. And there's several things that you can take advantage of. Okay. We got gas, oil, tolls, depreciation, lease payments, insurance, garage rent, parking fees, licenses, registration fees, tires, repairs, and there's many more. Okay, so just think about if you spent $11,000 in vehicle expenses, and you want to take 50% in business use, that's $5,500. Okay, now the cool thing about this is I don't want you to determine whether you take the actual miles or the percentage. That's something that your Wealth Max expert, we have an enrolled agent with the IRS inside of MWR Financial. All you need to do is keep track, upload it to the system, and ask them which one of these deductions you should take. Should it be standard mileage or actual percentage? Okay, that's something that you don't have to understand or do on your own. MWR has all the experts and they will do all the work. But you got to know that you're able to do it because you have not, because you asked not. And you didn't ask because you didn't know. So just think about all the trips that you take visiting your relatives, your parents. You know, my mother lives in Texas, Galveston, Texas. That's over 900 miles from where I'm living right now. And I go see her once a quarter, right? Because I got potential clients. Everybody is a potential prospect, right? So I get to document those 900 miles. That's there and back, round trip, okay? If you're not taking advantage of that, you're losing money, okay? Now, there's 3 different ways that you can track your mileage. You know, TaxBot will do it automatically, all right? It has an automatic pilot. When you get in the car and it recognizes the vehicle moving, it will start tracking your miles. Now, you may make several stops in between to your destination. Well, the second thing you could do, you can merge those trips together to make one trip, or you could do it manually. The thing is, you need to be tracking your miles. You're losing money if you're not. What about home-based office deductions? All right, if you're not deducting the expenses for your home, man, you crazy, okay? You gotta deduct your home office expense, all right? So here's how this works. Let's say you have your living space. Now, it doesn't matter if you own a home or you're renting a home. You just take a certain amount of square footage of a home. See, the government says you can take up to 300 square feet, or you could take 30%. So you gotta ask yourself, how much usage am I using for my home? So let's say you're taking 20%. Now, 20% of your home, you get to deduct 20% of the utilities, the interest, the taxes, the depreciation, the rent. Think about it, the rent, you get to deduct 20% of the rent, maid service, alarm services, trash. I mean, the list goes on. The list goes on. If your heating and air system went out, you can deduct 20% of the cost to replace it if need be, okay? All you need to do in order to do this is to follow the rules. Just follow the rules. the first thing you gotta do is make it use exclusively for business. Now, I suggest you take a picture of it to let the IRS, in case you get audited, know that you actually have a home office, all right? And it doesn't have to be a big bedroom like this one. It can be a little corner over here, just as long as that this is the place that you conduct your business, okay? Use it regularly. Now you're in business. Some of you guys are secret agents. If you're in business, be in business. And all we're asking you to do is spend 45 minutes a day, 4 or 5 days a week. That's what the regulation says, okay? And then let it be your principal place for business. This is where you're gonna do the majority of all your work. Right now, I'm in my home office. These are business hours right now for me, okay? And for all of you that is on this platform right now, you're conducting business hours. Because if I wasn't here, I'd be teeing off on hole 8 right about now, okay? So this is where we're gonna do all our admin work, okay? This is where we're gonna make our calls. This is where we're gonna fill out our worksheets, you know, this place right here. Now, some of you know that I do have an office down in the Ivory complex, but that's where I host my profit parties at, and my Saturday socials, okay? But I conduct the majority of my business right here in my own home, and that qualifies you, okay? So here's what I want you to understand, and I'm talking to the new reps, okay? New reps, you just signed up for the business. I want you to make sure you understand what you really have and how to use your star player, okay? So new reps are you've been in business 6 months or less. You know, we need to have this conversation. This is the conversation that I have with my new reps, okay? I want you to think about your mortgage. Now, when you do your mortgages, it's including the taxes and the interest, or if you have a rent. So let's just say your home is $1,600 a month, and we're going to use 20% of home use. That's $320. We're going to convert 200 miles into business miles at 57.5 cents a mile. That's going to give you $115. We also going to use business meals, okay, because we're eating out for lunch 5 days a week at work. We spend $150 a month. That's $75 that we can deduct, okay? So that's a total of $510. But here's what you got to understand. That's cash in pocket. Cash in pocket, $168.30, okay, if you tax at the 33% tax rate. Now, the overview said that if you're a W-2, you're taxed the highest, up to 33%. So if you're taxed at 33%, that's $168 in your pocket, all right? And that's in your first month alone. So this is another way that you can see that the price of your membership is self-funded. It's self-funded. So believe it or not, people will quit this business. All right, people will quit this business without even getting through the tax year and seeing what the Schedule C would do for them. You can't quit before the Schedule C, okay? Now, this is just only 3 deductions. I showed you earlier that there's over 475 different tax deductions, and we want you to be good at least 7 of them, at least 7. We call it a big 7, and I'm gonna add 4 to these 3. Your internet, your phone, your travel, and let me see what would be the next one. I'll think of it anyway. But we want you to be good at 7 of them, okay? Oh, hiring your kids. There you go. So along with those 3, your cell phone, your internet, hiring your kids, and your travel, okay? So just think about it. If you're not taking advantage of these deductions, people, this is what you're doing. You're just burning money. And everybody has a quitting clock. Everybody has a quitting clock, including myself, all right? But I choose to unplug my clock because I'm not quitting. But if your quitting clock is on and it's ticking, right? This is what you're gonna do to yourself if you ever quit, okay? So never quit your business, all right? So I always tell the new reps, you can't afford to quit. You can't afford to quit a self-funded business. You can't afford to quit a self-funded business. Now, here's some of the things that TaxBot can do for you. Okay, this is your number one player. This is your star player on the team, the most valuable player. Track your business mileage for you. It tracks it for you. Okay, so you ain't got to get in the car and write down the start mileage, write down the end mileage. You just get in the car and go. It does everything for you. Instantly record your deductions. Okay, so if you tie it to your bank account, it'll snatch it right off of that bank account, and it'll record it for you, and it'll come back and it'll ask you, is this personal or is this business? Automatically store your receipts, give you tax tips. So if you need to know anything, it has a tutorial built into it. Okay, and you also got instant access to the enrolled agent with your Money Max. It'll back up your deductions for you, okay? So you don't lose anything. It makes you audit proof. A lot of people are afraid of audits, but an audit ain't nothing but a check just to make sure that what you say is true. That's all it is, all right? Motivate you to maximize your tax deductions. So you see how much you got for just those 3 deductions, and there's 475. Well, you're going to try to get as many of the 475 as you can. Okay, it prepares a report for you, so your tax preparer can easily do your taxes for you, which is also going to save you a lot of money. Okay, because it's less hours that they have to put in. Everything is already done for you. It prints out a profit and loss statement for them, and they just do your taxes. And it'll help you grow your business, okay? Because if you share this type of information with other people, people will want to do on business with you. And it'll also help with retention, because the people that are in the business, if they put the number one player in the game and they see that they're winning and they can't lose, they won't quit, okay? They won't quit. Now, you take 2 minutes to do all this stuff on your iPhone, your Android, or you could do it on the web. All right. So basically you have two decisions. You want to either complain about the taxes, which is your biggest expense, or you want to lower it. You want to overpay, or you want to save thousands of dollars. You worried about an audit, or do you want to be audit protected? Okay. Do you want to keep tedious records, or do you want your record keeping to be easy for you? Okay, these are the things that you got to think about. These are the choices that you have. So for all the new representatives that joined through the break, okay, and all the new representatives that came in within the last 6 months, man, this is what your star player does for you, man. Like I said, it increases the retention, okay? So people won't quit on you. And they don't quit on you. They actually quit on themselves, okay? So make your documents easy. You got a business in a box. You can save thousands on your taxes. You can take your business more seriously, makes you bulletproof, okay? It brings you in more cash flow, but most of all, it proves that you are in business and this is not, okay? So I'm going to end with this. Keep your star player in the game, okay? Because it's not if you're going to win, it's how big is the win, okay? So that's my time. That's my time, guys. And I hope you got something out of that. TaxBot is a service that you get for free. If you don't know where to find your number one player, you can go to howtoshiftyourincome.com, go in the members section. It's part of the start, and it gives you detailed instructions on how to set it up and get it started. Okay. If you're in your back office, you can go to Money Max and you look in the left-hand corner. It should you should see something about TaxBot. Go ahead on and get that downloaded and use it. Don't put your star player on the bench.